Welcome to this explainer. Okay, picture this. You've got a guy frantically searching for his lost key under a blazing street lamp, right? A friendly passerby stops and decides to help out. So they're both down in the dirt, searching for what feels like hours. Finally, the helper stops, wipes his brow, and asks, "Hey, are you absolutely sure you lost it here?" And the man just looks up and goes, "No, I lost it inside my house, but, there's way more light out here." I mean, it's totally absurd, right? But it actually hits the nail on the head regarding this profound human truth. We literally all do this. We look for answers where it's easiest instead of where the problem actually is. Okay, let's dive into this. Who is the incredibly clever guy behind this massive joke?
So his name was Mullah Nasruddin, although depending on where you're from, you might actually know him as Nasreddin Hodja. He's this legendary figure from the 13th century, believed to be an imam, a judge, a philosopher, living in Anatolia, which is in present-day Turkey. And what made him an absolute legend was his teaching style. He was delivering these incredibly profound truths, but he just completely wrapped them up in laughter.
There's this one famous tale that perfectly captures how he operated. Nasreddin shows up to this huge fancy feast, but he's wearing these super old, worn-out clothes. And surprise, surprise, everyone completely ignores him. So what does he do? He goes home, throws on his absolute most luxurious, expensive robes, and heads back. Suddenly, it's all VIP treatment, massive respect. But during the meal, instead of taking a bite, he literally dips his sleeve right into his soup and says, "Eat, my coat, eat." The guests are totally shocked, but he just points out that they were clearly honoring his clothes, not him. And this brilliantly illustrates his timeless lesson: judge the character, not the packaging. But his wild logic didn't just call out vanity, it was a trap for greed, too. Get this. A neighbor once borrowed Nasreddin's cooking pot. When he brought it back, there was this tiny baby pot sitting inside. The neighbor goes, "Hey, your pot gave birth." Nasreddin just smiles and happily takes them both. Fast forward a week, the neighbor borrows the pot again, but this time keeps it. When Nasreddin finally asks for it back, the neighbor puts on this sad face and says, "I'm sorry, your pot died." Obviously, Nasreddin protests. Pots don't die. But the neighbor springs the trap. Well, if you believed it could give birth, why can't you believe it can die?
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how he routinely flipped common sense completely upside down just to prove a point. Someone actually asked him once, "What's more useful, the sun or the moon?" He didn't even hesitate. "The moon," he said. Why? Well, according to his logic, the moon gives us light when it's dark out, while the sun only shines when it's already bright out. I mean, it's completely backwards, sure, but you can't deny it's hilarious. He was also this massive champion for the underdog. He used that quick wit for actual justice. Picture this scene for a second. You've got a poor man holding a piece of stale bread over a restaurant's steaming pot of soup, just trying to catch the aroma to flavor his meager meal. Suddenly, the greedy restaurant owner storms out and literally demands payment for abusing the smell. So stepping in as the judge, Nasreddin calmly takes a few coins out of his pocket and just shakes them right next to the angry owner's ear. The owner is super confused, asking what on earth he's doing, and Nasreddin drops this absolutely perfect punchline: "I'm paying for the smell of your soup with the sound of my money." Just flawless execution. When you really step back, whether Mullah Nasruddin was a flesh-and-blood historical figure or just this incredible folklore legend that grew over time, his impact is undeniable. We are talking about a 700-year legacy here. These stories spread like wildfire along ancient trade routes, passed down through oral storytelling, and eventually ended up in books across dozens and dozens of languages. Even today, schools and philosophers are using his jokes. They're using them to teach critical thinking, humility, just basic common sense. He really proved that wisdom doesn't always have to wear a serious face. I want to leave you with one final story. Someone once asked Nasreddin, "Who is the biggest fool?" Without missing a single beat, he says, "The one who argues with a fool." The man laughs and says, "Well, I don't agree with that." And Nasreddin just smiles and says, "Exactly."